Hey, Decathlon Gamer, welcome back to FM22 Youth Factory. This is episode 36. We're going to kick off a new season here shortly, but let's do a little recap of what happened at the end of last season. Elite Syrian, we're going to look there first, and Rosenborg was the title winner a season ago on just 63 points out of 30 matches played, just over 2 points per match, which is certainly good. 19 wins, 6 draws, 5 losses. That's not that dominant of a performance. Plus 33, though. Yeah, that is looking nice. Brann, Bodø/Glimt round out the top 3. Odd, Start, Stabæk, Viking, and the top 7, Vålerenga. Otherwise qualified, I believe they won the League Cup, or the Nations Cup. So that was their reason for qualification. And you can see a somewhat sizable gap from safety down into the relegation zone, though none of the 3 were terrible, but they were just definitely a step below. In the second tier, Haugesund, Kongsvinger, and Tromsø all gaining promotion. Bren missing by a single point. Sundale just a couple points off themselves. The second clubs not faring so well. Bodø/Glimt, Vålerenga, and Lillestrøm all going down. Not sure how Lillestrøm 3 found themselves playing in the second tier, but there they were. In the first division of our third tier, Strømsgodset was the ones who got promotion along with Nordstrand. They won the promotion playoff, by the way, and had just 42 points on the season, which is pretty close to where we were at, meaning we would have been competitive in either division seemingly, but also a relatively small gap. I mean, we're talking about a baker's dozen from relegation to promotion. That's how tight this was. Kjelsås, Tromsø 2, and Elverum going down. I kind of like that first division a little bit better in a way because it's full of top teams. And I think that gives a little more stability, where the seconds and thirds that my division is known for doesn't. I don't know. I don't like playing against everybody's second team constantly throughout the season. Of course, last season it was Stabæk who got that title. We were right there in fourth. Sandefjord getting relegated, but relegated to the second division, so they're still above us. But Bodø/Glimt forced relegation. Yes, forced relegation, as above them there was relegation. So they are being dropped down. Somebody is going to come up in their place. Does that make the league a little bit easier on us? Quite possibly. And actually, look, we had 45 points. In that other division, that would have been enough to get into a promotion playoff spot. Would that then be enough to beat Odd? I don't know. They managed to do it. Could be. Awfully close there. Awfully close. We were just over 1 win shy a season ago, and that was as relegation favorites. Speaking of as relegation favorites, this season, here is how the division looks. You have Ailsund, and then a lot of usual suspects. Asker 2 looks to be a new one in the division. Last season's title went to Stabæk 2. Stabæk 3 now find themselves up here. So hopefully that team's a little more manageable, a little more beatable than Stabæk 2 was. I like the chances based on what's around us of maybe doing a little more this season. Maybe. But what does the media have to say about it? You know, I actually kind of like what we have here. I actually kind of like this. Bodø/Glimt 2 replacing Bodø/Glimt 3 through that forced relegation. No, they're still here. One relegated. Okay. Yes. Bodø/Glimt 2 here through relegation. But we also have 4 promoted sides with the circumstances of that forced relegation that there was. So there's only one side that came down, and that's Bodo Glimt, and yeah, they're going to be tough. Braun last season was heavily favored last season as well, and didn't put up that big of a fight. Mold was near the bottom of the league, and they're considered one of the top teams here. Odd 2 was absolutely a threat, so we'll still need to watch out for them. Kristiansund was up there, but they struggled through the first half of the season before settling down. Haugesund was up there, but they were mid-table. And then you have that drop-off. Åsane and Erdale were right where they were the season before, just above the relegation zone. Meanwhile, for us, we were 250 to 1 odds, and the season before we were like 300 to 1 odds. So there is recognition that we have gotten slightly better season after season. Now, the not applicables in promotion odds, we were picked 13th, I think it was, 2 seasons ago, with only one of those NAs below us. Last season, we were 11th with 3 of those NAs. This season, there's 5. So the gap between the top and the bottom is just growing. And it turns out that for the first time, remember, it's season 1 at this level, we finished 9th. Last season, we finished 4th. They are recognizing that we are getting better, but they're not giving us credit. We play above our heads season after season. Is that going to be enough this season to challenge for a title? Well, according to them, we're still a relegation favorite, and yet somehow appearing to be mid-table. I don't know how that part adds up, but either way, I like our chances of being a little more competitive. There's that handful of teams that are going to be a handful. Can we get through them? Can we get amongst them again like we did last season? And can we challenge? For the 3rd straight season, we are not in the Media Dream 11, but Ostby and Bergum are both comfortably into the key players. Of course, they always only allow 2, but it can be less. We did get 2 players in there, and I think this could be even better than last year. We've made a little progress. We also just made 20K at the trade deadline. We sold 1 player. It's Ittervik. Ittervik is out. It was technically could go up to about 23K. It's not a big deal in terms of finances, but it's not nothing either. And Ittervik has just been very much the backup. I have some young center backs that are as good, if not better. And when Ittervik was never going to crack the starting lineup for us anyway, somebody offering us a little bit of money is a little bit of financial support, so I went ahead and accepted. Here's how the team looks now, and I do like the progress that we are making. Okay, Ostby was our first player to crack 70. He was in the high 50s, I think, when he started. He very, very quickly developed when nobody else was. We got him up into the low 70s, and he has slowly climbed up to an 85. He hasn't fully stalled out, but he's very much slowed his progress since then. I think training-wise, that's just about all we are capable of at this point in time. Bergum, slowly gaining. Arsend is definitely gaining. He was in the 60s, now 73. He's already progressed here during the preseason by a couple points. Fawoli kind of yo-yos between a 70 and a 71, and that's where he started. But his potential ability is not far off, so it makes a lot of sense that he's not really progressing. But he's solid. A 70 for now, at least, for this level, is good. And that's the thing. We are now at a stage where we do have 5, 6, 7 good players for this level. So we still have some work to get that to a full squad of 11, and I think that's what can get us up to the 2nd tier. But we have made that slow progress, and it is evident here, and it's really supported by the fact that there's numerous players at 60 plus. There's a couple players down in the U19s that are 60 plus, but just don't quite have the right attributes for their position at this stage. So I'm waiting for them to develop a little bit more. You get them into the 70s and they're going to force themselves into the lineup one way or another based on a number of strengths they have that could help cover off the weaknesses that they have, or at least hopefully get those weaknesses developed. But a player like Pena, who was, okay, our 12th man for the most part, but Pena, you can see quality-wise, he was maybe our 7th best player just about a year and a half ago, and now he's down there. Calzi was better. Pena was better than Calzi, but Calzi is slowly developing. So progress does exist. It's not rapid. My goalkeepers aren't progressing at all. Christopher Al is not progressing. Not at all, but I think he was a 39 when he first came up. He's pretty much stalled out where he is at the moment. And our goalkeeper and our right midfielder are the only significant weaknesses that we have in the starting 11. Al reminds me a lot of Astencio in how they play, and yet somehow Astencio still outplays even though he's way down here. 46 out of 49. He was on a 47 out of 49 for a long time, but not playing as much has caused him to drop off. But what we see here with the senior level, all these guys in the 40s, these are the ones to loan out. These are the players in their early 20-somethings that I want to loan out because they're not good enough, but they have the potential that I don't want to get rid of them outside of Astencio, but somehow contributes despite not actually having quality. Here is the youth ranks, the entirety of them. I only ended up taking 5 or 6 of our youth intake. None of them had the current ability that we wanted, and only 5 or 6 of them had enough potential ability to contribute down the road. Haukeberg, Hagensen have been developing quick. I've got them both registered. I'm going to let them play U19s for now, but as the season goes on, and especially now that Intervik is gone, one of them could and should and almost certainly will take his spot in the lineup. I will pick from one of them. As it turns out that looking at Jakobsen, looking at Gillow, they have some weaknesses too, and none of my defenders are complete. And these guys actually might be able to step that up a little bit and give us something. But I didn't want to stall their development. They are developing. They're developing well, and I like seeing it. Haukeberg especially is kind of flying at the moment. He's doing really well. Training rating 8.75. And yeah, some rapid progress from where he was. I think he was in the 50s a season ago. Hagensen was already in the 60s, but not a 68. So both of them are making progress, and they are close to the first team. You can see outside of a few players down in the upper 30s, you very quickly get to the back end of the senior squad, and then better than that. I mean, players that are on the bench at the senior level are those in the 50s. And the U19s is full of them, just younger, making progress, keeping at it. Just for comparison here, Haukeberg, you can see, actually has a fair bit of quality. He's faster, he's got better vision, more of an attacking player, a stronger defender in most ways to Georg Gillow, who is one of our starting center backs, in every single area bar one. And that one is a real problem. That one is a real concern. He is a fullback first and foremost, not a center back. And as a result, and as a 5'9" player, aerially, he is super weak. If he was really fast, you can make up for a lot of that, right? He could do a lot of good defensive things, and as a unit, as 3, you figure it out. But I don't know. He's not fast, and he can't play headers. That's 2 issues with Haukeberg. The interesting thing here, though, is when you look at Jakobsen, you go, oh, maybe he does belong in the first team, because Jakobsen's a fullback by trade as well. And he's got a little more speed, than Haukeberg, and that's noted. But Haukeberg's better aerially and better defending and much better physically and a better attacker in general. So I think Haukeberg is ready. Hopefully with some senior level time, we can at least get the pace up. I'm not sure if we're ever going to get him in a strong place aerially, but we already have one player in that starting three that is terrible at headers in Jakobsen, and other than being a little bit slower. Getting the full picture, Severette, great in the air, strong defending capability for our level, but then weak everywhere else, and just as slow as Haukeberg. Speed is an issue for our team. Haukeberg is fairly well-rounded if he could just get a little pace and the aerial ability. So let's hope he continues to develop rapidly this season, but I do believe he is going to get called up and end up on the bench for this first game. And we begin the season at Braun 2, the team picked by the media to win the league comfortably. And we're on the road, so it's going to be a challenge. Let's see if we can upset the apple cart and get ourselves an unexpected result right off the bat in day one. We do it in front of virtually no crowd, as no one's really shown up. It's the opening day of the season. Andreasen already picks up a foul right there in the early seconds. And in earning that one, it was just a reprimand. So just a shove, apparently, from the looks of things. Andreasen already making a couple plays that we've seen in the highlights. But there's one big mistake by the defense. Our weakness, their speed, their physicality. That is our group. That is still the chief strugglers. Let's hope our new man is going to make an impact at some stage here. Loose ball, recovered, still in the box. There's the cross. Gillo heads it away. Bergam up to Lovas, and Lovas going to hold that up for Al. Arsan finds Bergam, finds Lovas through, and there's our opening goal. Flag stays down. It's 1-0. First goal of the season. Curious if we were onside here. That was either perfectly timed or just off. Dangerous through ball there with the cross into the box. They win the header over Andreasen. That's definitely not one of his strong suits. Unfortunately, they go just wide on that one. Right now we are being outshot here, 4-2, so they are creating chances. The ball laid off, edge of the box, into the box, and out again. Another chance through. Sabani makes a comfortable save on that one. That shot should have been more well placed. So Reddy heads that away. Approaching halftime, still with the lead intact. That's certainly under threat. That is onside. Sabani, not a great job on the save on that one. That was a pretty easy save, but it slips out, goes out of bounds. That is a header that they were able to win, but not able to get on target. We're going to get our own chance here, but we can't beat the first man as he steps back and clears that away. And they begin the counterattack the other way. Again with the ball over the top. Hint of offside, but maybe well-timed. I think similar to ours. I think it was probably just on. And they have been all over us here at the tail end of the first half. But we do hang on to the lead that we earned and deserved. It was a good goal. I'm going to go cautious here in the second half, which is what we set last season. So the season before, we stuck with our positive approach. Last season, we went cautious. This season, I think we've improved enough that I'm going to go back to balanced as our standard. But otherwise, tactically, we've kept things the same as the team gets better and better. And second half underway. Cautious approach now in place. Can we hang on to the lead that we have earned, but only just? They certainly look like a side deserving of a goal themselves. can we stymie that here in the second half? We do have possession, being a little more cautious, getting behind the ball a little bit better. Might help us out with that. So far it has. We've already hit the hour mark with no changes. Corner kick. Looks like we were held there, but instead we get called, and it's a penalty. I effing hate these. Sabani makes the save, but he gets the second chance. Defense can't pounce on it fast enough, and Sabani really not hanging onto the ball well today. Andreasen, is his yellow for dissent, or is it for the foul? Sabani with a massive save there, but Halgrid gets the technically open play goal following the penalty save. And now we have it all to do. We still sit in position to earn 1 point on the day at least. I'd rather see no penalties than see us earn a bad one, and certainly not see opponents earn them either. I just do not like penalties. Great through ball there, and there's a second from Lovas, and there's the big FU to get that thing back and get us back in a front position. And now, based on everything that I've seen here, seeing a ball that is heading well out of bounds, and whether or not Andreasen commits a foul, right? FM just does not do fouls justice or penalties. They do not do penalties justice. There is no clean look on whether you're getting a true penalty or not. The game just doesn't. Lovas gets his third. It's a hat trick. We are going to take all 3 points today. Anyway, whatever that penalty was, deserved or not, I hate him. Therefore, I feel they are cheap goals. I feel that they are not deserved goals. We had a deserved goal. Now we've had a second deserved goal. And now we've had a third deserved goal. We deserve all 3 points today. That's the point. They might have the advantage in the XG, but we do have the advantage where it counts, and those are earned goals. There is nothing wrong with the goals that we've gotten. They were well played. Severity, Fuoli, Ostby. Let's look here in the last 20 minutes at what sort of changes we may want to make in this one to avoid having somebody sent off and suspended as Bergam goes close. That header, if it was not down the middle, that would have been a goal. Al struggling. Let's go ahead and bring on. Ooh, oh no, Stensio is there. Oh, Bergam, was that off the post? Was that off the post or was that saved? I do not know which. We went awfully close there. They went fairly close on that one. Okay, Bergam is tired. He's having a good day, but he is tired. Let's go ahead and bring on our new man, another young player who has been called up, and that is Mankiewicz. Mankiewicz. Ostensio with the goal, and it's 4-1. Hell yeah. Mankiewicz, another U19's call up that I have brought in. Al-Salih. So Al-Salih was that guy last season. He scored once. Scored once the entire year. And he had a lot of appearances. Quite a few. We had a couple injuries. We had a suspension, yellow card accumulation at some point. He had multiple substitute appearances as we were trying to rest Bergam and Lovas, who were getting start after start after start and playing 90 minutes and getting quite fatigued, and that was a blown opportunity. They really should have scored one there. Okay, we have one sub left. Final minutes. Mankiewicz, his first action through. Great setup there. Nearly gets himself an assist. And we get a corner out of that as the ball just crossing the line. Andreasen, that's the one I do not want to risk. Let's go ahead and bring on young Hegestad, who last season, if you remember, scored a huge goal for us. That was Hegestad's not only first goal of the season, it was the first goal of his career, and it was his first senior appearance. He had been loaned out the season before, and so his stat line was deceiving to me. He had been loaned out the season before, and he had played on somebody else's senior team, but it was his first appearance for Youth Factory FC. Full-time, 4-1, on the road against the league favorites. Hell yeah. Great way to start the season. All right, folks. Hey, this is going to be a super short episode today, but here's two things for you. One, I'm out of time. I am still catching up on things. It's been a really, really busy 2 weeks here, IRL, and I'm still getting caught up on some things. So I only have X amount of time, and that X amount of time has passed. But two, last episode, I was mentioning leave comments below on what you think I should do regarding our financial situation. We had high hopes that a change in presidency would come with something, a new stadium, financial something, some sort of promises. Well, it was zilch. It was nada. Nothing happened. Therefore, it's time. We have to do something. We've put it off for a decade. We have been more than $2 million in debt on a club that brings in almost nothing in terms of income, and we've spent very little. But to continue forward, to do something, even if we get promoted to the second tier, even if we develop enough and we are in the title fight this season, there is no end in sight. There is no resolution to the finances. If we get promoted, we could take another 8 years in Division 2 before we see promotion again, but there will still be no resolution to the finances. Therefore, it's time. It's time to intervene. I do not see any other solution in sight. We tried to let nature run its course. We tried to see something become some sort of resolution, some sort of ticket forward. It hasn't happened. Let's make an intervention. Let's make something happen. Let's create an opportunity for this club to keep moving forward. The experiment was not supposed to be about the finances, and for a decade it's been more about the finances than anything else. I want to make that a thing of the past. I don't want us to be loaded with cash. We're not going to go that direction, but I want some solution to our current predicament, even if it's only going to help it. I have not seen those comments because I'm recording this back to back with that last episode. Therefore, I'm hoping by this point, it's been a couple more days since that episode would have gone live, and therefore by now, I'm hoping that I have a poll going live for you today. That's my goal. That's my objective. Look for that. Look for a poll with whatever those options were that I was presenting, whatever great options that you added through comments. The best of those should be available for you to vote on now. And then by our next episode, maybe, I'll have an answer for you and we'll get started on that. We'll also push a little ways into the season. But for now, that does it for this one. I'm Decathlon Gamer. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Have a good one. Be safe out there. Bye for now.